common question that a lot of watch collectors ask themselves at a certain point in their watch collecting journey is this: should I buy 3 affordable watches, or should I save up and buy one expensive one? Of course, there is no way I'm gonna make a YouTube video and give you a definitive answer. The answer to that question is very personal. What is true for you might not be true for me. The best I can offer is my experience of buying, selling, and collecting watches over many years, and hopefully that's going to be enough to help you make that decision for yourself. First thing I want to get out of the way is the concept of affordable watches. I'm not going to be archy luxury over here and calling watches that are cheap shitters or whatever. That's just misleading, because if you're eliminating certain kind of timepieces, you're really missing out on a lot of fun and a lot of value for money. This video is more about the concept. Here's what I mean. It's almost the same if you're considering whether you should buy 5 $50 watches or one $250 watch, or if you should buy 5 $5,000 watches or one $25,000 watch. The principle is the same. Of course, there is a pretty big difference between the two. We will touch on that a little bit later on, but the thinking behind it is very similar. Before we answer the question whether it's better to buy 3 or 5 or 10 affordable watches or one more expensive watch, first let's talk about the advantages of buying affordable watches. The first and probably biggest advantage is the fact that it's a lesser financial commitment. It's easier to spend $5,000 on 5 different watches as opposed to spending $5,000 on one watch. It's less scary. You also get more variety with 5 watches. You can wear a different watch on different days. It doesn't get as boring. You also don't have as much fear over the watch breaking. If you only have one expensive watch and that breaks, well, that's pretty bad. But if you have 5 watches, one of them breaks, I mean, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Splitting your money between different watches also gives you a bit of peace of mind. Now, this will depend on the price of your watch, but the more expensive you go in this hobby, the more hassle you have to worry about. You have to worry about theft, you have to worry about insurance, servicing costs, storage costs, etc., etc., etc. If you only concentrate on more affordable watches, those kind of hassles really disappear. There's probably a lot more advantages to having more affordable watches as opposed to having fewer expensive watches that I can think of right now. But there's one more that I want to touch on, and it's the pride of having a collection. There's something nice and comforting about having 5 or 10 pieces as opposed to having 1 to 2 pieces. However, no matter how big your collection is, eventually pretty much every watch collector reaches a point where they simply have too many watches to wear. Like, for example, I used to love buying $50 Vostok watches and $200 Seikos. Once I had about 20 plus of them, it was just simply too many, and I found myself maybe wearing 3 or 4 out of the 20. The rest just kind of sat around, and I didn't really have desire to wear them. They were cool to look at, but they weren't really utilized. And that's a bit of a different collecting strategy. I'm one of those people that I want to use and wear all of my watches. If they're simply sitting in a box, it doesn't bring me as much joy. Some of the other watch collectors simply like having a collection. They don't necessarily wear every single watch in their collection, but it just feels nice having that collection. And I understand that. That's just not me. So at a certain point, I decided to downsize the collection, sell a lot of these affordable pieces because I simply wasn't wearing them. As my watch collecting journey went on, I became a lot more mindful about the watches that I added to my collection, the watches that sat in the box, and ultimately the watches that I wore most. I noticed that I wasn't buying as many affordable watches, but I just wasn't buying as many watches in general, because you can only wear one watch on your wrist at a time. So really, you have to choose carefully which watch that will be and which watch you will really connect with and build memories with. It will be more meaningful to me to have fewer pieces that I have a better emotional connection with, as opposed to having a large number of pieces that I don't really care about as much. So that's why I became a lot more mindful about what watches I was adding to the collection. Now, where that brings affordable watches into the equation, Because of the nature of affordable watches, they are affordable, it's a lot easier to continue to buy them. What's $100 here? What's $200 there? You just keep on adding them and adding them and adding them. Eventually they take over your box and it just becomes too many, which might sound like I'm saying that you should buy one expensive watch as opposed to 3 affordable watches, for example. But that's actually not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the question whether you should buy 3 affordable watches or 1 expensive watch is a wrong question to ask. A better question to ask is, which watches will I enjoy wearing the most? That's a very difficult question to answer, don't get me wrong, and it takes a lot of experience, a lot of time to try to figure that out. But once you figure the answer to that question out, you no longer have a desire to buy as many affordable or even as many expensive watches anymore. You tend to be a lot more deliberate with what's on your wrist. The advice that I would give to newer watch collectors that are watching this video and trying to answer this question whether they should keep on buying more affordable watches or try to step up in value, I'll say this. At first, when you just start your watch collecting journey, it's probably a good idea to buy a few affordable watches. It's not a big financial commitment, and it gives you a chance to figure out what style of a watch you really like. Don't follow the trends, don't just see what's quote unquote hot on Instagram, really see what you like. Do you like diver watches? Do you like vintage inspired diver watches? Do you perhaps like chronographs? Do you like dress watches? Figure out what you really like. And after you have, let's say, 5 different affordable diver watches, well, maybe it's time to step up to something a little bit more expensive if you want to. Go for an Oris or a used Omega or something like that and see how much you like that, because you already determined that you like diver watches and you probably already determined what type of color combination you like, what type of style you like, what type of size you like. So it's a lot easier to step up to that higher price category. I think that's a pretty smart way to collect watches, and it's a pretty good way to mature as a watch collector. As you become more experienced in watch collecting, I don't think it's necessary to buy as many affordable watches anymore. Unless you want to buy affordable watches, then of course, by all means, if you enjoy collecting many watches, then that's what you should do. But if you don't, if having a box full of watches that you don't wear stresses you out, then you probably should stop buying affordable watches and try to answer this question: which watch do I really want to have on my wrist? Which watch do I really want to build memories with? And it's okay to have a different answer to this question 2 years from now than you do today. But what is that watch today? And try to focus on perhaps saving up money for that watch. And if it's not an expensive watch and you can afford it right now, well, maybe it's worth buying. So that's it. That would be my advice. Thanks for watching this video all the way until the end. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, we release new videos every week, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know at what point in your watch collecting journey you are. Are you still buying a lot of affordable watches trying to figure out what you like? Or do you already know what you like and you're trying to concentrate on fewer pieces? Leave your comments, I always enjoy reading them. In the description of this video, there are a couple of links. Check those out if you're curious. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye. You're so sleepy. You don't even want to move. Sorry I disturbed your sleep, but the viewers love seeing you.